Right there, ladies and gentlemen, that was high five, hard to get, and for NFL players, apparently it's balls. NFL owner Bob McNair said, at a meeting that they called together about discussing what the NFL could do to help, deal with the issues that the protests have raised. He said in the middle of it, we can't let the inmates run the prison. And a lot of people think that this was a misnomer. It was a figure of speech. It was not. There are amazing similarities between prisons and plantations. Amazing similarities. The NFL is the most lucrative pro football league in the world. In the world, nobody makes more money. No other sports endeavor makes more money. But on average, NBA players make $5.15 million. Baseball players make $3.2 million. NHL players make $2.4 million, and NFL players make $1.9 million. What I tell you is that it's amazing the similarity between plantations, prisons, and football. When slavery was over, they had all of these people that were free, and they needed their economic engine. They needed this free labor force they no longer had. What did they do? They sent them to prison for petty reasons. And much like prison, much like the biggest, strongest, fastest group of black people in the world that aren't playing football are probably where? In prison.
In prison.
What this man did by telling you that he's not going to let the inmates run the asylum, there is a reason basketball players make so much more money than you. Because the owners in basketball are more collaborative and they have a more cohesive relationship with their players. They don't see them as they don't take pride in owning them. Football players tend to act like plantation owners, like prison wards. In basketball, Donald Sterling said something that was out of line. They made him sell his team. They made him sell it. Danny Ferry said something out of line for the Atlanta Hawks. They made him sell it. Football will just apologize, and you darkies run the field for me. They do exactly what they want to do. It's not different than a plantation. They make you believe that this is all that you have. When we were slaves, they didn't have fences around the plantation. They didn't do that. They didn't gate them off. They ruled us with fear and intimidation. They didn't get everybody. They got one. There were 4 million slaves at one point. 4 million. If all of them decided to leave, there would have been nothing they could do. But what they do is get one, whether he's Nat Turner or Colin Kaepernick. They do the exact same thing. You are not a slave. You're not beholden to them. To play football, you got to go to some of the finest institutions of learning in the world. Your mind will hold out a lot better than your body will. But you make them believe that they owe you something. The average football player plays 2.5 years. So you're a young man. You went to college. You didn't educate yourself. Your body's probably suffered some damage from playing football. And now what? Your mind is your deliverance. You, like no other group of black people in the world, have access to an education that's the finest in the world, and you let them believe that you're beholden to them? We have been slaves in our mind for so long, and that is the difference between the NFL and basketball. That's the difference. That's why basketball players are so much better paid and so much more respected. If you said something like that on a team LeBron was on or Kobe was on, what would happen? What would happen to you? You lose that damn team. But you let that man say that to you, and you did nothing. You did nothing. You let them do what they do to Colin Kaepernick, and you do nothing. You let Jones say what he says to you, and you do nothing because you believe that they own you. They do not. They buy your athletic prowess, not your silence. You are bright, strong men, the strongest on the earth, and you let that man say that to you because you believe it. The mind you have right now when you play football, just like slave owners, remember how they didn't think slaves could feel pain? Isn't that similar to NFL owners and CTE?
It's true.
You are not a slave. The only slave you are is the one you allow yourself to be. If you are educated and you set your own terms, you can make the world yours. You are the most educated, strongest men on the face of the earth, and you let these people disrespect you because they dangle money out in front of you. They are doing exactly what they've always done. They could not keep us all in plantations. They used fear. They didn't castrate everybody, just a few. They didn't whip everybody, just a few. And whether you're Nat Turner or whether you're Colin Kaepernick, it's the exact same thing. You truly do, like a lot of wardens will tell you, prisons actually do run the institutions. They live there. Everybody else goes home. You can set your base. The reason you're not respected is because you let them disrespect you. If you all stuck together, just like we had all stuck together and we'd all left, 4 million people left, they wouldn't have what they have. If you guys stuck together, they couldn't do what they do. But you insist on being afraid. You go to your mind will do a lot more for you. You will live a lot more longer off your mind than your legs, and that's just the truth. That's the truth. What did Harriet Tubman say? I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if only they'd known they were slaves, or that they wouldn't run a 4-5 or 4-3 forever. You're only as slaves as you allow yourself to be. When you go to a school, figure that football might not work for you, and even if you get 2 years, read. Just like in prison, they're not scared of the big, strong dude. They're scared of the guy who can read and reason. They fear Colin Kaepernick because he inspires you to be better than what your circumstances. He inspires you to use your power. And you let him get his foot cut off, and you play like the master told you to do. And you should be ashamed of your goddamn self. All right, that's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.